Brought to you direct from Studio 3B at Baird Brothers Fine Hardwoods, the American Hardwood Advisor is your source for trends, tips, and insights into how the building industry has evolved. Join me, Steve Stack, along with guest builders and industry leaders as we talk shop and go in depth on what it takes to be the best of the best. Dive into topics like architecture, industry trends, project plans, historical tools, tricks of the trade, and life's lessons from more than 6 decades of experience in the hardwood lumber business. Hey everybody, Steve Stack back here at Studio 3B, Baird Brothers Fine Hardwoods, Canfield, Ohio. And we have a great partner guest today, Jessica Smith. Jessica,
thank you so much for having me.
Thanks for coming.
Thank you.
Jessica is one of the principals of Sheely's Furniture and Appliances out of North Lima, Ohio, and more recently, Aurora, Ohio.
That's right, yeah.
You guys have been busy.
We have, yes. We've been very blessed, very fortunate that the pandemic didn't disrupt our business. In fact, I think everybody was sitting at home thinking, oh, my couch isn't as comfortable as I thought it was when I'm on it 12 hours a day. So everybody kept coming out and seeing us, and we've been really excited to be able to continue the volume of business we do.
And folks, if you haven't been, a fantastic showroom down in North Lima. I've been there many times. Yep. We've done a couple projects together in the showroom, and our product looks better in that great setting that you guys create in the showroom. You walk in and it's like, wow, this would look great in my home.
Yeah, and vice versa. It's so nice because I think we have 3 different types of hardwood flooring down that you guys did for us. Some shiplap walls, some great barn doors, just different ideas that when you come in, you can really get an idea of what it's going to look like in your house, or what it could potentially look like in your house, furnished and with everything.
And my head's spinning right now because you said, and I heard 13 other things we have to talk about, and that's great. But for the folks that aren't aware,
yes,
tell us a little bit about Sheely's and the background and the history. 70 plus years strong?
Yes. So this is actually our 70th year anniversary. My grandfather, Dale Sheely Sr., founded it. He actually was a math teacher and part-time electrician, and he had a growing brood of children. They ended up with 6 total, and I think he rightfully so, was probably nervous about how he was going to put food on the table for all of them. So he started wiring houses on the side, and when he would go in, people would have old hot water tanks and things like old appliances that they'd be getting rid of when he would be rewiring their house, and he would say, do you need these? Do you want us to haul them away for you? And those that they did, he'd refurbish them, sell them, and then he got into new appliances, and so it kind of just rolled from there. But it was almost by accident that this all started 7 years ago. So he set the principle back then, set the foundation, and we've been just trying to make sure that we uphold it ever since then.
So you're not only in the furniture business, you have the full range of bedding, of appliances, accessories.
Yes, definitely. We try to say that we're the one-stop shop, so you can come in and furnish your entire home, top to bottom. If it's not buildable materials, we should be able to help you out.
So fast forward to 2020, 2019. You guys had a growth spurt.
Yeah. So about 1.5 years ago, we opened our second location. So obviously it took us almost 70 years, but we finally did it. And we opened in Aurora. We had an opportunity come across our plates that we just couldn't pass up. So it's a beautiful building, 65,000 square foot showroom, and we have a great staff up there. An extension definitely of what we do in North Lima, just beautiful, beautiful space. So, and it's a great neighborhood too.
And the full menu of products again?
Yep. Everything that we have in North Lima, we have up there. So the only difference, our warehouse is in North Lima. It's about 100,000 square feet. And so everything gets received, assembled, inspected, and delivered out of North Lima, as well as all of our customer service is there, our wood shop technicians, upholstery technicians, appliance technicians. So everything runs out of the original flagship store.
So you touched on something. You said assembled.
Yes. Yeah.
And I know there's a little bit of a unique story. Not every furniture company goes through that step or that process.
Right.
Why so?
Right. So I think a lot of companies, it's a convenience factor for them. They just get it in, it's in a box from the manufacturer or from the vendor, and they deliver it the same way that they receive it. And unfortunately, that means that a lot of times, product that's coming in that might have been damaged, that you don't just see it outright, or, something that came in that isn't perfect is going into a customer's home. The delivery drivers are unboxing it to assemble it, and they find out, this is something we're gonna have to take back. It's either, scratched or dented or crushed corner or something along those lines. Yeah. And so it's a disappointing experience for the customer. So we, since my grandfather founded it, he has been so customer focused and customer centric. He used to sell stuff out of his own home with my grandmother growing up. She'd get so upset with him. She'd have dinner on the table and he'd walk in with a customer because their house was right across the street from the old store, and he'd say, "Alice, I'm selling your china and I'm selling your table and chairs, and we're gonna eat on the floor tonight, I guess, with the kids." So whatever he could do to make sure that they are happy and satisfied and want to come back and tell their friends and their neighbors and their family about it, that's what he did. And so we try and do that still today. And so that's why we make sure that everything we put in a customer's home should be looked over, assembled, and made sure that it's going out in the absolute perfect condition. And if not, then we don't send it. We pull a different one from our warehouse and, make sure that it's right before it goes. So
going back to your grandfather's story, selling the couch from underneath your grandma.
Yeah, it's happened multiple times from what my mom has told me and some of the other kids. So, but that's the thing is, and we laugh about it now, even like my grandparents growing up, because she understood too that he was doing it for the good of the family, because it's important to make sure that that you can really wow somebody when you have that opportunity, because it takes a lot to gain a customer, and then once you have them, you want them to do the right thing.
Right. So. How true is that? And we strive to make that customer experience as fluid as it can be.
Right.
And from whether it be ordering over the phone, ordering online, a visit to our showroom, and unique to you guys, I think, having visited the North Lima location.
Yeah.
You can go in, walk around, see things in a setting where you can envision it being in your home.
Right.
Right. Yeah. More importantly, you can do that by yourself. But if you need information, you have a very strong sales staff.
We do.
On the floor, no?
Yeah, we're so fortunate. I think that our average sales associate, believe it or not, has 20 some plus years with us of experience. We have very, very little turnover, and it amazes me that we just have such loyal, dedicated employees, and that we'd be nothing without them. That. Like, it's just, you're only as good as who you have behind you, I guess. So we're really fortunate that way. They're knowledgeable. We have a very different approach to the business in general, which is that we don't like to pressure people. We don't like to hound them. We're not on an up system where they follow you around and you're their customer no matter what. We just want you to browse. We want you to look around, and then we're here when you do have questions or we can help.
How many sales staff do you have?
So we average about 20 to 22 in sales in North Lima, 5 to 6 in Aurora, and then appliances is kind of a separate sales department. So we have anywhere from 8 to 10 and a couple in North Lima and a couple in Aurora as well. So it's pretty large sales staff for a family-owned business.
And it grew out of your granddad and grandma's living room.
Yes. He didn't advertise a penny until 1993 when his kids took over. So from 1950 to 1993, he didn't advertise at all. It was all word of mouth.
Where was the original store at?
So it was actually in North Lima also, but it was just down the road where Shilly's Linen Outlet's located now in a little plaza.
Yeah.
And then they lived in a house, well actually they lived in a house attached to that plaza when it was just, I think, my Uncle Dale Jr. and my Aunt Cheryl maybe, and then they built a house across the street from it. And from what they have told me, they had a bell, and when Grandpa would get busy, there was like a bell he could ring and it would go over to the house, and my grandma would leave the kids and come over and wait on a customer because it was so close. And so she'd just pop in and out in between making dinner and laundry and everything else.
That's funny, and I chuckle. I chuckle because years ago here at Baird Brothers, we had a little tiny showroom in the front of our manufacturing facility. And you just didn't stand around. If there weren't customers, you went back into the shop and did whatever.
Right.
Gluing up butcher block tops or stair treads or cutting survey stakes, whatever the case was.
Yeah.
And we installed a bell right inside the door by the sales counter.
Efficient, right? You're never wasting time. Nobody's ever sitting or standing around, like you said.
Yeah.
You might come out with a little sawdust or a little, but
No, and people would walk in, and if there wasn't a salesman present, they'd push this big red button, and everybody knew that there was a customer in the showroom that needed attention.
That's so funny. That's so funny. I mean, that's the way to do it, though. Minimal overhead.
No, and we still implement that in our will call service.
Yeah.
Our customer and/or contractor will call service. The gentleman that oversees that, he's receiving orders, he's going and pulling materials, getting orders built for folks to come in and pick up. And again, if you walk into the trim building, he's not at his desk, there's that big red button again, and give it a hit and he'll come running,
That's the way to do it.
So there's a lot of similarities in the businesses, Baird Brothers Fine Hardwoods, Shilly's Furniture and Appliances, the family, the traditions, the values.
Yeah.
And another thing that's very similar are our customer bases. I know we deal with 4 or 5 different avenues of customers.
Yeah.
And they're all important. They're all important, whether it be our architects, our interior design folks, our contractors, our remodelers, our DIYers, the up-and-coming makers market, and we have to address each one of them.
Right.
And so you see a lot of those same people coming into your stores?
Yeah, definitely. I think we do have, and we have different avenues, and we talked about this a little bit before we got started today, of how we're changing and growing to meet those customers' needs all the time. So, what used to work, in 1993, where we don't have the advertising, we talked about influencers and obviously selling online. Your guys' website is, especially for what product you sell, it's unbelievable to me to be able to keep track of the smallest, the different sizes and the smallest. It's just amazing. So it's just a whole new world that we're growing into, and we got to keep up with the times. I think it's a catch-22, I guess, because we're trying to stay grounded in our foundation and our heritage, like you said, and, stick to our roots, but then also make sure that we're not being complacent and not growing and adapting at the same time. So it's a fine balance, I guess.
It is, and I know we always try and stay aware of, you have a different conversation with an interior designer than a homeowner.
Sure. Yeah.
And you have the staff to accommodate all those folks.
Yeah. There's people that come in, and I'm sure you guys see it too, that will bring a picture of what they like and what they have an idea of what they want, but not know how to vocalize it in terms of, like for us, what type of fabric or what style that they might like, because people use different terminology even amongst the industries. And I'm sure you have the same, I really want hickory, when they're like, oh, that's not hickory though. Like it's just, so you don't know, you just need to walk through it, because some people, I think, need a little more guidance, and then some people come in and they just, it's like we don't even need to be there almost. They're just running the...
It's a great asset to have those people that are able to convey those messages to your customers.
Yeah.
Again, paralleling you folks, your products, Baird Brothers, our products. I might walk into Sheila's and see a great little wing chair and say, man, that would look great in my house if it was in this color.
Right.
Then your salespeople come out with
right.
a fabric
Yeah.
sample ring and say, which color would you like it in,
Right.
Steve, right?
Exactly, yeah.
And the same thing back at Baird Brothers, somebody will come in and they'll see one of the hundreds of styles of interior doors we offer, and they say, boy, I'd like that, but I'd really like it if we could do this to it.
Yeah.
And we get through the design. Then the easiest question, what species do you want it in? And that opens up a whole new conversation.
Right. Stains and everything else.
Right,
Other
right.
panels, it's amazing how many choices. It's overwhelming to customers, I think, sometimes. And so it is nice to have that guidance and be able to narrow things down, even based on what their needs are in their home that they might not think about. Doorways that they have to get through in terms of being able to get furniture, or if it's a basement, being able to take it down the steps and make turns. Sometimes you walk in and there might be a wall that greets you, to lead into a hallway, and some things are just too large or, too tall to be able to fit in a space. So sometimes I think, that it's not just the guidance in terms of being able to make it a beautiful space, but also functional, and make sure that we're not going to set them up for disappointment by, diving a little deeper and asking the right questions,
And that is key, and we preach that here, that our salespeople have to ask the right questions to get the correct information. So again, you or I can make that experience as smooth as we can,
right.
from beginning to end.
Right.
And we want them to enjoy that new hardwood floor under your new sofa, and when the room's put back together and complete, right?
Yeah.
So Jessica, thank you for coming in today. We've learned a little bit about Sheila's Furniture and Appliances, talked about our partnership with Baird Brothers, and we really appreciate you coming over.
Yeah, thank you.
I'm thinking that we might have to have you back, and I know you're a wealth of knowledge on the design side of things, so we're going to invite you back, okay?
Okay, yeah, that'd be my pleasure. I'd love to.
Appreciate it. Folks, stay tuned. More from Jessica Smith and Sheila's Furniture and Appliances out of North Lima, Ohio, Aurora, Ohio, and more from Baird Brothers. So stay tuned, follow our socials, and keep track of what we're up to. For all you folks listening, thanks for talking shop with Baird Brothers Fine Hardwoods. If you've enjoyed this episode and want to stay up to date with the American Hardwood Advisor series, give us a like and subscribe. For more tips, projects, and inspiration, check us out on Facebook, Instagram, or at BairdBrothers.com. Until next time,